Tips with Tony. Tips with Tony. All about nutrition from your favorite dietitian. Everything you need to digest in your mind. Tips with Tony. Tips with Tony. Making you healthier one bite at a time. With Tony. Woo.
Hello and welcome to the Tips with Tony podcast. I'm Tony Marinucci, a registered dietitian, helping you get healthy one bite at a time. Welcome back. If you did not listen to the episode that I put out on Monday, definitely go back and listen to that before you listen to this one. And you're going to hear what I eat in a week. And this episode, we're going to talk about how my diet varies on the weekends. Now, if you didn't listen to the very first episode or you're new to the podcast, then you want to understand that the word diet is not because I'm trying to achieve a certain thing. It's not something I'm following. It's literally my diet. It's after lots of trial and error and figuring out what works best for me. The foods that I eat on a regular basis that give me energy to do my job, that make me feel good, and that is what my diet is. So it's literally the food that I eat. Now, most people, whether they're following a diet or just kind of living their life, tend to do quote unquote really well Monday through Friday. And then on the weekend, it becomes a free for all. Now, there's many reasons why it's so challenging to stick to healthy eating on the weekends, but this is not what this podcast is about. I think I've actually recorded a podcast about how to not binge on the weekends. I can't remember the episode, but it was a little bit, probably about a year ago, actually, that I recorded that. So maybe I'll do another one pretty soon. But basically, what I wanted to share with you is how my diet, what I eat on a regular basis, varies slightly on the weekends, but not too much where you almost wouldn't recognize it compared to what it is during the week. So very often, my weekends are the opportunity for me to bring some flavor into my dishes. I'll spend a little bit more time in the kitchen, or I'll order in or go out. This is particularly different with COVID. But, when there was outdoor dining, I did go out a lot on the weekends. I would go out for, Friday is Bruce and I's date night. Even on Saturday, I might hang out with my sister, or go to my family's house on Long Island and we order in food. So the weekends, I actually don't eat a lot of my own food. I eat a lot of takeout or order out. And I actually enjoy that because for me, it brings flavor to the dishes. As you've heard, if you didn't listen to Monday's episode, my diet, what I make is really based off of convenience, things that are quick, convenient, they're healthy, and they're balanced. But I don't spend a lot of time adding flavors. I usually use the same seasonings: garlic powder, onion powder, salt, and pepper. Don't really stray far from that. Sometimes I'll chop up some garlic and some onion to bring flavor to my veggies and my meats and stuff. But I keep it pretty simple. And that's okay for me. I really don't mind. I still think the food tastes good. Obviously, I can notice a big difference when it's really good. When there's more flavors, when foods actually have been marinated, or seasoned and kind of sat in it for a little bit, I could definitely notice and taste the difference. But when I'm going through my day-to-day, Monday through Friday, and working and stuff, I don't mind too much. But anyways, so that's, so my weekends, like I said, are an opportunity for me to, eat things that I don't typically eat. And I embrace that. So just because I order in a lot or do take out a lot, or even, now I'm not going out as much because there's not outdoor dining and I'm a wuss and I don't care about your fancy space heater things. I want to be comfortable. So I rather just stay home, to be honest, and I'll order in. So I'll give you just an example of kind of the places that I typically order, or if I were to make something at home, kind of some things that I usually do. Because I just also, too, I don't want to cook. I've cooked all week. I don't want to clean. Usually I have my cleaning lady come on the weekends. I don't want to mess up my kitchen. So there's just a lot of factors of why, I like to spend. That's when I really get to write my book. I don't want to have to do anything, I kind of want to be able to chill, regroup, re-energize myself so I can show up for my clients, for you guys on social media, for, myself, for my, all the things. I just if it's one less thing I have to do, which is cook and clean, whatever. doing that. So not to say I won't still prepare food, but I try to just make it easier on myself. So my breakfast, my lunches, my dinners, my mini meals or snacks, whatever you want to call them, probably about 1 or 2 of them per day, whether it's Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, are pretty much the same of what I would normally have during the week. So I don't stray too far. Now the difference is like I might sleep in a little bit later, so things might just get pushed back, but I definitely don't skip meals. I know a lot of people will only eat like 1 or 2 meals on the weekends, and then they, overeat and they don't feel good after, and it's probably because you're skipping a meal or not having like even just like a mini meal in between. So I still have 3 meals on the weekends. They just might be more spaced out, or they might be like later in the day. One might be bigger than the other, but anyways, so I still have 3 meals. Now what I will typically do is, like I said, dinner is typically the place that I do takeout or order in. And so Bruce and I tend to rotate with different restaurants. So if we're doing like an American restaurant, I'll usually get a salmon dish because I like salmon and I don't cook it. I'm not great at cooking it at home. So I'll get something that like a broiled salmon with some veggies and a baked potato, or I'll get like salmon over a salad, let's say. There's this restaurant that also serves like you could do fried calamari over a salad or grilled calamari, and I usually do grilled calamari over a salad. So and Bruce really likes seafood too. So if it's like American or seafood, I encourage myself like to get a lot of fish because the only type of fish I usually cook with is shrimp. And although it's in my rotation, I don't make it every week. I might do it like every other week or something. So whenever I order out, I typically stick with fish just because I don't know. I don't like cook. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's my oven. And fish is not hard to cook, guys. Like I used to cook it when I was a dietitian in a supermarket and I did cooking demos. Like I made some really awesome fish for like people to try. Like I know how to cook fish, but I don't know what's up with my kitchen. I don't know. I just don't make fish at home. Maybe it's because I don't know. I don't get fresh fish. Maybe I need to use fresh fish instead of frozen fish. I'm not sure. But either way, when I go to restaurants, I usually get fish. So if it's an American restaurant, I typically do like a salad or very similar to like what I would prepare at home where I use the plate method, right? I have a protein, I have a starch and a veggie, but in this situation, like the restaurant is probably they might use butter. I don't care. Like, even though I use olive oil when I cook, like that's probably the reason why it's so much more delicious and more tasty. Like, I'm not afraid of that. So if you're struggling with food fear, it's like, it's okay. It's 1 meal out of your whole week, or even if it's 2 or 3, like it's okay, right? As long as it's balanced with all these other things. And if you're getting something that has a healthy cooking method, like baked, grilled, or broiled, like it's okay if they put a little butter in it. They probably have seasonings and herbs and spices that I don't just keep in my pantry because it's, I don't know either how to use them or they will go bad, or I just like don't use them enough to even purchase them. So that's usually what I'll do for if we do like American, if we do like a sushi restaurant, or Japanese, or even Chinese, or any sort of Asian or Thai. Like we trade it up. Like we do, like we switch it up. We do a bunch of different options, but so if I'm doing Japanese and we're doing sushi, I'll usually do sushi if we do Japanese, and I usually do 1 cucumber roll. So any sushi roll you can get wrapped in cucumber instead of rice, depending on where you live. For me, they wrap it in cucumber. And then the other roll I'll get wrapped in rice, just to save on carbs, unless I like had a big crazy workout and I'm really craving carbs. You guys know that carbs aren't bad. I just I feel better when it's balanced, right? So if a sushi roll was in the plate method, 1 sushi roll is enough to fill a quarter of your plate with your rice. Okay. To put things into perspective. I'll usually get with that if I'm doing sushi. It's not that filling, to be honest, whichever way you put it, with cucumber, with rice, whatever. So I'll usually start with maybe like a miso soup or a salad with ginger dressing, maybe even some edamame. I usually do that as well. If I do Chinese, I'll usually do like steam chicken or steam shrimp with veggies with brown rice and the sauce on the side. I know it's pretty boring, but like that's what I like from that. If I order pizza Italian, I usually get it from a place that has gluten-free pizza. And so I'll usually have that, but I always make sure that I get a really large salad with it and start with the salad first. And then I usually like to have leftovers, so I don't feel like I need to finish the whole gluten-free. And by the way, I'm gluten sensitive, so I won't finish the whole pie. I'll have like half of it and then have the other half tomorrow for my lunch. And I like that. Sometimes, depending on the size of the pie, the personal gluten-free pies, sometimes that pizza will literally last me the entire weekend, to the point where sometimes I throw out a slice at the end of the weekend. And then sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes I could eat half within the 2 days, but I very rarely have the full thing in one sitting like that. I would never feel good like that. I definitely don't do that. So that's if we do Italian. Bruce is obsessed with this Mexican restaurant that's near us. So very often he'll get literally all of the coconut shrimp tacos that they probably serve or have for a night. He will get a lot of them. I will usually get like a chicken tango taco. And I actually really love, they have this salad with like Brussels sprouts, goji berries, wheat berries, which is gluten-free, by the way. And like they put this definite like oil or sauce or something that I'm sure has like, and the dressing, I'm sure, I don't even care. Like, I'm sure there's lots of calories in it, whatever, but it's delicious. I love it. It's super satisfying. So I'll usually get like a taco, and that salad, and that tends to hold me over really well. And then, another option, if I'm doing Italian and I'm at my parents' house, there's a restaurant where I grew up and they do the zucchini noodles. So it's they call it zoodles. So they could make any pasta dish with zoodles. So they also have gluten-free pasta, but I actually really enjoy the zoodles. It's so filling, so much vitamin, so much water. It's delicious. So it's zoodles with broccoli raw, sun-dried tomatoes, and shrimp. And it is so good. Like, so good. And you guys know that you can have, and sometimes I will do gluten-free pasta, or other times something like that. If I'm trying to spice it up, I might make that at home. But instead of the zoodles, I'll make it with like a chickpea pasta. They're not the same. They're not like alternatives. You're not zoodles are vegetables and chickpea pasta or gluten-free pasta are starches. So you're not really supposed to use them interchangeably, but it really comes back down to like, what are you in the mood for? What's going to satisfy you? And how do you want to feel? Those are the questions you always want to be asking yourself. So honestly, guys, there's some weekends where I'll literally have a takeout meal Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That was more in the summer, I'm not going to lie, because it was mostly like out and about and like that just worked. Now, as it's starting to get colder, chances are like Bruce and myself will still have date nights on Fridays, but it's going to be more like we'll probably order in instead. And then Saturdays, I might even just like cook like a nice dish and like actually spend a little bit more time preparing that, or not even cooking, but I might even pick up, there's a restaurant near me and they have like half of like a turkey breast stuffed with like apples and like mozzarella cheese and spinach, like really interesting things that like it's already prepared and all you have to do is heat it in the oven. So I might do stuff like that. And then Sundays I usually start to prepare a little bit for the week now because I work from home. My schedule's pretty flexible. I used to cook a whole ton of food to get me through the week. Now I kind of just like always make sure I have protein, starches, and veggies on hand, but I don't cook for like 3 to 4 or 5 days ahead of time. If that works for you, great. And chances are if you're busy and you have, if you have kids and you're doing a bazillion things, you probably would benefit from cooking more food on a Sunday to prepare for your week. But for me, I kind of just look at what I have on hand. I definitely make sure I at least go to the grocery store so I have stuff available for me to cook at least on Monday. And that works for me because my schedule, like most of my client calls are Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Mondays I have stuff on the calendar, but it's not as busy or hectic. So I could usually, as long as I cook something on Sunday, I could cook a little bit more on Monday. I usually don't cook Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I mean, unless it's like as much as like heating up leftovers or like throwing on some like chicken sausages or whatever. And but more on that in episode 1 of this saga of what consists in my diet. And then I kind of do a pantry check again on Friday. And then I think about like, okay, am I going, what are our plans for Friday dinner? Like, do I need to prepare more food? Do I need to do a quick, like little store, like stroll by the corner store just to pick up at least like a salad kit or something for during the day, even though I know I'm going to be going out for dinner in the evenings? Am I going to be going to Long Island because that's where my family lives? Those are the sort of things that I ask, but food-wise, it really doesn't vary too much. It's still healthy, it's still balanced, but it might not be as kind of boring, to be honest, as what I usually eat during the week. As for beverage choices, I shared with you that during the week, I may or may not have like a glass of wine before or with dinner. Or sometimes even after dinner. I usually have like one glass, and that's fine for me. On the weekends, I might have 2 glasses. In the summer, I wasn't really drinking during the week, but on the weekends, I would probably have like 2, sometimes 3 drinks, and that was like a little bit too much, to be honest, for me. For me, my alcohol consumption has usually now, and this could change, guys. What you eat in a day versus what you eat on a weekend, it can change. But for now, what works for me is if I want to have a glass of wine with dinner, whether it be on a week or a weekend, I do that. On the weekend, I might go for depending if I'm going out to a restaurant, I might choose maybe tequila with seltzer and a splash of lime juice, or a dirty martini with vodka. It is amazing. And then I'll stop at that. And that's my weekend. I know I didn't really talk, I didn't say I have candies, cookies, and chocolate and stuff, but those, to be honest, occasionally if I crave that, I'll go out and I'll get it, or I have some gluten-free cookies that I keep on hand that if I want to have a cookie, I have a cookie. But I honestly really don't really crave that stuff unless it's around my period, which I'm going to record another episode about how to manage your cravings around your period. So stay tuned for that, okay? I hope you're enjoying 3 episodes per week. My intention was to keep them short and sweet, but I don't really know how to do that. So thank you for being here. I would love to hear your feedback if you're enjoying these episodes, if you like that I have 3 episodes a week. If you're no, it's too much, it's overwhelming, I can't listen to them all, and then I get overwhelmed and then I stop listening, please let me know. Or if it's no, this is great, I wish you had episodes 4 or 5 days a week, let me know that. It would be super helpful. I'm always open to feedback. You can email me, tipswithtony@gmail.com, or you can follow me and message me on Instagram at tips_with_Tony. That's Tony with an I, or the Tips with Tony podcast. All right, guys, if you have not already subscribed to the podcast, definitely hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for listening. As always, I'm Tony Marinucci, your registered dietitian, helping you get healthy one bite at a time.